Okay, one of my favorite things to do with Illuminate is to create my daily math on it, and I do what's called a blind assessment, where I just pick the standard and say give me 5 to 10 questions, and it finds questions based on that standard. This allows my students to have a maximum amount of different types of questions for the same standard. And to do that, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to say visit item bank. Once you're in item bank, you're going to say create, and you're going to say assessment quick mode. Click next. Go ahead and give it a name. I always skip the description part. Give it your academic year. Select your grade level. Select the subject. Once I'm here, we're going to select the standards. If you're in my district, you'll select the Arizona Academic Standards. Select the subject you want to do. We're doing math. Select your grade level again. And then right in here are the different standards. So let's say I want this standard and this standard. Scroll back up to the top, and now it's selected already 5 random questions from each standard. Let's say I want 3 questions from each standard. You can also modify criteria and say I just want multiple choice by selecting this types. Multiple choice, I want maybe evidence-based, whatever you want. If they're taking it online, I leave this blank. If they're doing a bubble test, I only do the multiple choice. Click update criteria. Go to step 3. Now what's cool about step 3 is I can come in here and I can add previous quizzes and say your benchmarks or your final exams to the exclusion list, so that the random questions don't get pulled from those tests. And then you go ahead and you click generate questions. Click generate questions for all standards. And then right in here you can start seeing the questions that it picked. Now let's say I'm looking at that and I don't want this question, or it doesn't quite fit what I'm teaching. You can actually hit regenerate and then check out your other standard right here. Okay. Once you're satisfied, click ready to publish. And now it takes you into a familiar screen, and right in here you can review what your test questions are. From here, if you have a second idea that you're like, oh, I don't really want that question after all, you can click this remove item. Okay, this little X right here, remove item. I can change the order real quick by clicking 3 if I want that in the 3rd spot, and it just switched it. And then I can click this prepare booklet, and I can say generate. Now the only reason you need a test booklet is if you are planning on giving a bubble sheet for this, if you're going to print it off and have them do a bubble sheet. If you're doing it online, you can skip over a few seconds to the next part. So you come in here, you look. If it's the way you want it, you go ahead and hit publish. If it's not the way you want it, you can change the font size to make it fit on 2 pages. I do a front and back, so I make sure the font sizes match. You can change your question spacing. If I want more space between each question, I can do that. If I want them to have room to write. Once I'm finished, I click publish, and I click publish and administer, and I am ready to give my test to my students. And that's all there is to it. Do a real quick test. It literally takes less than 5 minutes per test that I create.